Today's guest is Shannon Schindler Redman, who will touch, move, and inspire us for a life beyond what we can imagine. Welcome to Richer Soul, your journey to a more purposeful, intentional, amazing life. Where are you going to go and how are you going to get there? Let's figure that out together. At the core is the financial well-being to do what you want, when you want, how you want. It's about personal freedom and abundance. Please check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/Richer Soul. That's where I share interesting articles that I have read. Also, if you get a chance to visit the website, richersoul.com, you can sign up for my email list. I don't send very many emails, but when there's something important or some bonus materials, that's where you will find it. So, are you creating the life you deserve? That's the question you need to answer. It happens one step at a time, and it's the journey. That's where the fun happens. Today, we'll explore Shannon's journey and how she helps others. My goal is to help you figure out your puzzle pieces and how they come together to design a great life. That means we have to understand where we're going. In other words, what's our purpose? We also need to be healthy enough to be able to do what we want and have the time to be able to do so. We need the financial resources to fund the life we choose to live. Living life alone gets kind of lonely, so creating strong relationships and being part of something bigger than ourselves spiritually. While we all know this, we seem to get stuck in the day-to-day and stuck listening to the voices in our head that create fear and hold us back from the life we deserve. If you've not listened to episodes 1 through 9, I encourage you to go back and listen to the framework behind Richer Soul and how to create balance in your life. Too often we have so many competing priorities. We need to find a way to keep them in harmony. Many times work jumps on us or our family pulls us south or our finances get a hiccup we weren't expecting. Having someone to help you look over all those pieces and find balance is the job of the conductor. If you want to climb Mount Everest, you need a few Sherpas, guides who know the way and can help you get to the top. In both of these roles, it's you who has to do the work. I'm just here to guide, teach, and show a path. So as we listen to this, it's the beginning of the fourth quarter. How are you doing on hitting your goals for this year? Are you achieving them? What about next year? Have you started to think about what you want to do in 2018? I know in 2016, I wanted to start this podcast and I failed. And that's why for 2017, it was my number one goal. I had a coach who helped me in the last few weeks of 2016 get everything together and make that last big push to get everything rolling for 2017. I've already got my theme down for 2018. The reality is if you want to achieve something in 2018, you've already got to start putting the pieces together today so that you can hit the ground running on January 1st. If you wait till January 1st, too many obstacles will present and prevent you from the success you deserve. A simple example is if I want to start working out next year, I should join the gym before January 1st. So right now, go research some gyms, find out the one you want, and join in December. I should also know what workout routine I'm going to do. I should have my clothes ready to roll in my gym bag and whatever other essentials that I need when I go to the gym. If I can remove every obstacle that will prevent me from success in January, I've got a better chance that on January 1, I'll be able to start and I will be able to achieve my goals for 2018. You've essentially got 90 days to put your plans in place. I'm already putting in place the things I need to do so I can get started. As I reflect on 2017, I'm hitting a lot of my goals, but not all of them. But that's okay. If you're hitting your major goals and the majority of things that you want to do, that's pretty good. Because if you miss out on some of them, those are the ones that you can move to the top of the list for 2018. There's a proven science behind writing down your goals. So over the next couple of months, if you haven't already done so, start writing down what you want to achieve in 2018, and then start putting the pieces in place so that you're ready to hit the ground running January 1. Today, We're going to meet someone who's overcome herself to achieve the success she desires. Her passion is now to help you build a life beyond your imagination, and she has tremendous success in doing this for others. Let's meet Shannon Schindler Redman. Welcome to Richer Souls, Shannon. It's great to have you join us today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Rocky, for the opportunity to be with you.
It's always a pleasure to meet great people. Let's start at the beginning. What was it like when you were growing up, and how much did your family and school teach you about money?
That's a hilarious question. So when I was growing up, my experience was that my parents were very hardworking. My mother, from my memories, was always working like 3 jobs. My dad was in sales, and it seemed like was going from job to job. In my home, and again, this was 40 years ago, so we never went on an airplane. We always packed the car, station wagon, and drove everywhere. And so I definitely have. And then there was the flip of my grandparents. So my grandparents, it was like there was an unlimited amount of money. So when we'd go to Grandma and Grandpa's, it was a contrast. I'm really clear in my current adult journey, I'm committed to really annihilating poverty mindset and ancestral money behaviors and patterns in my life.
That's interesting. We'll dig into those in a little bit.
Yeah.
Being an immigrant, we see this happen. It's like one generation has a little bit of success.
Mm-hmm.
They propel the next generation who has tremendous success.
Mm-hmm.
They spoil the next generation who does okay, and the last generation is screwed. And then the process starts over again.
Yes.
When you have success, you have to be quite intentional in the next generation. I think too many parents who have success want to make it easy for their kids.
Yes.
And you can't, because it leads to that vicious cycle. So what are you doing differently to teach your child about money?
It was first like the recognizing that my parents' patterns I was living out. I was a 3rd generation corporate tax accountant. It was like I was the only one who had gotten a college degree, and I found myself, but my heart, here's the funny part, my heart wanted to go into sales and marketing like my dad. But when I was in college, I was taking a double major in marketing accounting. When I couldn't handle the school load anymore, my mom said, everybody's going to need bankers, accountants, taxes. So I followed in my mother's footsteps. And so it wasn't until really 2012 that I kind of awoke to, this is not my path. This is not my journey. I was unfulfilled, unsatisfied, just downright sitting in a cube with fluorescent lights overhead and saying, there's got to be something other than this. And so to address the question that you specifically asked me, which is, what am I doing for my daughter? Oh, man. We have those conversations. So she has seen the journey that mom has been on, which is literally, like, no kidding, reinventing myself. And she assists in my business, whether I'm putting together flyers or packets of information, or whether we're off talking to people and she hears my coaching calls. We also have conversations about, I really just want her to be fulfilled and happy. She doesn't have to have what I guess the society would feel or deem as these safe careers, the banking, the doctors, the lawyers, that I really want her to create her life and have freedom, whatever that might look like. But we're more focused on her being a kid. I'm really focused on not having conversations around her that don't look like, what do you want to be when you grow up? But who are you now? What would you like to do? What difference would you like to make on the planet? So we're really kind of focusing on what lights you up, what gifts and talents do you have, and what difference would you like to make? That can play out in whether she goes to college or not. I have a 6-year degree that I'm no longer utilizing, and I'm more enlivened and fulfilled now than I've ever been in my life. So we have much different conversations in our home than that I had growing up. And it's perfect, right? It's all perfect. There's nothing wrong.
Absolutely. Question though, what do you know what happened between your grandparents' generation and your parents' generation?
I don't really know. I just remember my grandfather was always so gregarious and, generous. Like, we would go out to fancy dinners and, every night it was out, having dinner, and some short conversations that I recall having with my mom of late, it was, they couldn't really afford it, but that was what they were doing. Maybe my mom made choices to not project a financial situation that wasn't accurate for herself. I actually don't know.
Okay. So because there are a lot of people who live beyond their means.
And my grandparents probably did, maybe. I don't even know.
There are so many money mindsets, and that is one of them. Some people just live beyond their means, unfortunately.
Yes.
That's rather interesting. So what caused this light bulb to go off and for you to say, I think you were in that career for a long time.
18 years.
18 years. So what set the light bulb off at 18 years?
For me, I got involved in personal growth and development in about 2007. And it began to, well, first of all, like fulfill some things for me in my life that I didn't even know was missing. I got to distinguish some stories that I had made up about myself and the way my life had gone. And then I got, like, I could just create it. And while this is not an easy journey, it was possible. And so I was surrounded by other people listening for what my heart's desire was. What did I want? And it was literally like I was handed a blank slate and they said, go. I got involved in some coaching programs that had me create projects. I created the Fun, Flirty, Fabulous 5 and 5 here in St. Louis. It was just a 90-day project. And it really was focused on taking what you were passionate about, which at that time it was, empowering women and have it come to a tangible event alive in the world. I had no social media skills. I had no marketing skills. I was still actually in the cube, and because this is 2012. And I said, man, these people believe in me. What if I began to believe in myself? What if I began to take the coaching? What if I began to take these new steps? And I did it in less than 90 days. I had over 600 runners. We had sponsors like Whole Foods Sports Authority, Michelob Ultra, Jazzercise, some major sponsorships from all of the participants. Well, and I was on Channel 2 and Channel 5 and a couple of that. But we raised money to build a well in Kenya, Africa the first year. And in the second year, we contributed to Wellbridge. It's a women's shelter center, an expansion of their community. And so it was like from that project, Rocky, I really got, if I could do that, I could do anything. I also got that me in the world made a difference for others. And people, particularly the women that I was hanging around, were hungry for empowerment. They were hungry for inspiration. They were hungry for movement. They were hungry for community, where really together, we took on this project as women in a community together. I guess it was 2013. I was complete with that second year's race, and I said, I don't think I'm meant for a cube in corporate tax and accounting. And so I completed that career and literally from nothing reinvented my resume, which I had no, I had no formal training other than this project, and went out and had conversations with corporations looking to hire me. I've been on a wild adventure since.
And it's funny. We talk about leaping without a parachute.
Yes.
Right? And so what you did, in a sense, was use an outside event that you could kind of learn to fly with.
Yes.
And if the outside event failed, Shannon didn't fail, that event failed, it wouldn't crush your income. I mean, you still have your job, everything else is still good, but it allowed you to learn to fly.
Yes.
And you could do it without worries. And that's what I find is if you're struggling to break through a fearful barrier, find a way to cheat your way around it. And this is one way to do it. If you go out and you join a charity event and you're out asking for something for the charity, then it's not you that's failing. It's, the charity doesn't deserve the money. But it allows you to build the skills to go out and talk to people if that's an area that you need help with.
Yes.
It seems these things follow through in all patterns. What were some of the mindsets that were holding you back before you left?
Oh, wow. The total, I'm not good enough. I mean, totally, I'm not good enough. And I could actually begin to see that I had structured my life to continue to, let's just say, reverberate that back to me. I was in a marriage that wasn't working. I was in a career that I wasn't satisfied or fulfilled by. I wasn't even able to be the mom that I wanted to be. So I almost surrounded myself with, you're not good enough answers, pictures. Also, just failure. I am a failure. I struggled all through college, and I always just felt like I was passed up for promotions, or it was kind of a, no offense, Rocky, but in the corporate world, for me, my experience was it was like the man's world. I didn't exactly know where I fit in. And then, of course, the other mindset I had to bust through is, I'm not lovable. People don't love me. I intentionally have, with a conscious awareness, really transformed each three of those, if you might say, mindsets or stories that I created for myself over time.
Have you been to Tony Robbins?
I have not.
Okay. There's a video out there. First of all, it's by Marissa Peer, and it's basically, I am enough. It's pretty cool because it looks at people who have massive financial success and they're still miserable. And the reason they're miserable is because they don't feel like they're enough. Mm-hmm. Tony Robbins took that a step further. He said, number one, everyone, the things that hold you back are to say, I am not enough. And the second part of that is, if you're not enough, you won't be loved.
Yes.
It's interesting to see the more I see so many different people, the same patterns appear, the same things, whether it's one person saying or another, these are the things that kind of come back to it. And I think people need to understand you are enough. And I think people are trying to climb mountains when sometimes you don't need to climb a mountain. You can be good wherever and whatever it is you're doing, if that's what you choose and you're happy with that answer. And
absolutely.
That path.
Yes.
On your website, it says that you help people acquire the charisma, energy, power, influence, and confidence of an unstoppable woman.
Yes.
That's a massive claim. How do you do this?
Well, I do it in a variety of ways. I have group coaching. It's called the Rise of Woman. It's an online 10-week coaching program where they're delivered a specific module each week targeted to moving them. Well, first of all, awakening their conscious, creating them to be bold leaders in their industry, and also giving them tools and systems to create a life that they love with freedom and abundance. There's modules, and then we have, a mastermind that they can, so we're collectively coming together as women. We listen for each other's greatness. There's group sharing, group coaching, and hearts are connected and lives are transformed in that process. I also have private coaching that I offer women, and that's really if they want to kind of 10x their life, maybe bust through self-limiting barriers, or expand their business, or maybe even switch careers, reinvent themselves. All pieces of our lives come into this coaching. The other piece is that I'm still building an organization. I am an independent sales rep with Kang & Water. So I am on the ground building an organization myself and bringing that ontology and love and leadership to everyone that I share my business with.
Since you've been talking about coaches, have you had coaches in the past, and how have they helped you?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I have pretty much had a coach since nonstop since 2007. Having a coach is the only way, Rocky, I have gotten to where I'm at. I have taken a variety of coaching, group coaching and private individual coaching. I've taken live coaching where I go to a seminar, let's say once a week, and be coached there. I've taken online programs. Yes. Coaching is so distinct because, well, first of all, when you hire a coach, you're actually declaring something for yourself. It's almost an acknowledgement, a worthiness that you are saying, I am no longer willing to put up with my current set of circumstances, whether it be the level of your business, whether it be how your personal life is going, maybe it's your weight, I don't know, whatever you're dealing with, family issues, but you're just saying, hey, I am conscious enough, I am awake enough, and I declare this no longer works for me. And when you have a coach, first of all, they're listening for what's important to you and actually creates forward movement in your life. They can hear, stories that are running. I always say, master your mind and rock your business. It's the mind, Rocky, that is literally, no kidding, holding us back. When you have a coach, man, you have a champion for life, different and distinct from a friend. You call up a friend, and it's easy to enroll your friend in the drama of your life. And then what do they say? Oh, yeah, that's happening to me too. Or, oh, yeah, that I've got that as well. A coach is, hold on, wait a second. Is that true? They can begin to paint a new picture, a new view for you that you can powerfully step into your own power, and you start from nothing and create something that you say you want. So yes, coaching. I have multiple. I have group coaching. I have a private coach. I have, yes.
So here's my question. You said you started coaching in 2007.
Yeah. No. I started.
Being coached, yes, in 2007.
Yes. That's right.
And then it was till 2012 when you walked away.
Yeah, that's right.
So what was going on in those 5 years?
Great question. What was going on in those 5 years was dismantling the beliefs. And the other thing I'm really clear about, Rocky, is the environment in which you swim in plays a major role in your success. And that was something I was trying to hold on and make it work. And it was like, this doesn't work. So it was just dismantling beliefs. It was clearing old ancestral patterns. It was clearing the I'm not good enough. It was all of it. It's hard to even begin to explain what was going on. I mean, I had so much what I would consider as dysfunction in my brain. At that point, I was 30 some odd years old. I was dismantling 30 some odd years of stuff. And then going, if I'm not going to do this, what am I going to do? Then I had to deal with, then what showed up right after that is, well, what will other people think of me? I mean, that's like the next natural, it's one, seeing it, and then it's, well, if I do this, what will other people think? I had an army of people going, you're nuts, you're never going to do this, you're not going to succeed, you should stay where you're at. I mean, so it was, again, then that was like new things for me to bust through. Other people's opinions are not paying my bills or living my life or know what's in my heart and what's possible. So there was just a lot of busting through, layers and layers and layers and layers and layers.
How did you keep going?
How did I keep going was I got so crystal clear, Rocky, on my vision and my passion that nothing, at this point, there is nothing that can deter me. And it was just little seeds along the way were planted. Like, I had the Fun, Flirty, Fabulous. That was a little seed. And then I launched, it was called Wise Women Connect. It was a women's it was a women's network organization here in St. Louis, and I ran that for a year. That was a little seed. Then I began to speak life into women about, whether it be financial planners, real estate agents, small business owners, coaching them and teaching them how to target market, how to do social media, how to attract their ideal client, how to have their customers. These little seeds, every time there was a victory, for instance, creating $1 million sales reps, it was another seed. And when I hit $1 million in my sales organization, it was a little seed. So over time, I planted all these little seeds, and then this garden, Rocky, begins to grow. It's just confirmation. The seeds, as they sprout and people are hugging you and loving you and saying thank you, just more seeds are sprouting. There's a point that you just can't go, you can't stop. You're like, wow, it's happening. And you're filled with joy and gratitude, and I don't know, it's the yummiest life, Rocky.
And it's kind of like the compound interest curve.
Totally.
You have to just keep showing up, keep doing the work. There's a time where you feel like you're running 100 miles an hour and you're getting nowhere.
Yes.
But it takes time for those seeds to turn into trees.
Yes.
It's just the reality of it. And if you keep doing it and you keep putting the time and you keep showing up over time, success is there.
Absolutely. The other thing was, it was an awakening and an awareness, Rocky, that all along the way, I had it inside of me. It was like I had just forgotten, or I didn't realize it, that what I have today is possible. And I think there are so many people, particularly women, that have forgotten their dreams, that have forgotten what they wanted to do. If we're not conscious or awakened to it, we just kind of get sucked into the everyday, get up, brush our teeth, take a shower, eat our Frosted Flakes, and go off to our job. We forget that we were created for something. And it's really to discover our gifts and give our gifts away.
That's interesting. You said we were created. I'm guessing religion plays a part in your life.
Spirituality, absolutely. Definitely.
And how does that help?
That has been a journey. I grew up in the Catholic faith, and I went to Catholic school my whole life. At some point along the way, when my parents were going through a divorce, I walked away from religion, Christ. And in 2009, I gave my life back over to the Lord and was baptized as an adult into the Christian church. It's been beautiful. I also work with energy and the universe. It's all here. It's just, can we tap into it? It's been provided, and learning that there's an abundance of everything, whether it be clients or love, or we are overloaded with an abundance. The other thing that's really transformed my life is really getting that money is just energy. Yeah, it's to be earned and received and given away. I have taken on many, many charitable organizations sponsoring children in the Dominican Republic through Viva Kids organization, and my husband and I were cause in the matter of having 16 children sponsored. So it's just, my commitment is that I leave the planet better than I found it. And my spirituality does play a huge role in that.
That's an awesome commitment to have.
Thank you.
Speaking of that, you've talked about attracting clients. And I think
Yes.
for people who want to start a side business, the hardest part is first figuring out what you want to do.
Yep.
And then the second part is getting people to pay you for what you want to do.
Yep.
What's the secret to attracting clients?
That's an interesting question that I actually feel like I have a flip view on that, Rocky. I used to think it was like strategizing, where to find this ideal client. But now I have come to the realization it's like, who do I want to work with? Because when I am happy and fulfilled and working with people that I love, I'm lit up, I'm more vibrant, I have more energy, I have more passion. I naturally become like this beacon. I just found that I love working with, powerhouse women that are up to something. I really say to those that are looking like, who should my ideal client be? Well, it's look at who lights you up. Who do you want to work with? Whether I'm building a business or coaching, it's like we are going to be spending a lot of time with those people. You want to be with people that you love and want to be with. We do some discovery work in my coaching program on identifying who that is. Not all women want to work with women. Sometimes they want to work with men. And then it goes even more focused, like, what is that person dealing with? Really honing in. And when you get access to where your heart is lit up the most, like in a very, very specific conversation. In fact, I did this with a woman on a call yesterday. It was about an hour discovery call, and she was a past real estate agent switching over into a different direct sales organization. When she took on this direct sales organization, she was going after real estate agents. Well, what we discovered yesterday in the call is what lights her up the most is actually going after people just like herself. What her situation is, she's in, her husband's the breadwinner, and it's not like she needs to make a whole lot of money. She just wants to feel like she's making a difference or a contribution in her own family. And I said to this woman, I said, don't you think there's a ton of other women out there on the planet just like that? And if you shared your story, if you shared your journey, if you shared what you deal with on a daily basis, that their heart will connect with your heart and they'll naturally want to do business with you. And she was like, oh my gosh, yes. So it's a process, Rocky. I'm sure you know this.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are sometimes, are they fearful to share their story, their journey?
Well, yeah, actually, yes. I hadn't thought of that before, because sharing my story is such a part of, well, one, the difference I get to make on the planet. When we kind of go through the eye of the needle, when we break the chains of poverty, when we break the chains of the mindset, when we break the chains of, whatever it is that we're dealing with, we actually, Rocky, give permission to another to have it too. So I guess I hadn't thought of that before, but for me, what I teach is sharing your story, is when people can relate with you. It's authentic, it's an integrity, it is vulnerable, it is raw, but in such a rapid world, I think that's what we need more of. We need people to just share, like, this is what I'm going through, this is what I experienced, I found this, and maybe I can help you too. I think it's attractive when people are in that space.
Absolutely. And you've written a book recently.
Yes.
So
yes.
What is that about?
I never in my life, so writing a book was not on my radar. And so I was requested to be a co-author in a book called Energize Your Life. It is a collection of other women who committed to making a difference on the planet. My hopes is just that my story, first of all, is relatable, that people get access to who I am and who these other women are that I'm associated with, because it is in our collective beings that there's freedom and power inside of that as well. So yes, it's called Energize Your Life, and it's supposed to be published in October. So I'll be looking forward to that.
By the time this is released, it should be out.
Yes.
And what's the main theme of the book then? What will people learn? People
will learn stories of transformation from where they were to where they are, and bridging the gap between that. If they pick up the book and they relate with somebody and they want to do work with one of those women, it is a resource for energy workers, coaches. It's like a yellow pages of powerhouse women that are up to things. So it's an extraordinary resource in anyone's hands.
And so in looking at those stories, what prevents people from bridging that gap, from crossing over? You mean from where they are to where they want to be? It all comes back to self-limiting beliefs and mindset. And it can be also their environment. If you're hanging out with people that are not growing, not expanding, it's kind of like the crabs in the bucket. I don't know if you've ever heard of that analogy, but it's like the one crab gets one claw over the edge of the bucket, and all the rest of the crabs inside the bucket are pulling at the ankles or the heels of the crab that's trying to crawl out. If you are surrounded by a community, you have a coach either in a group setting or a private setting that can stand with you, partner with you, you can get over the edge of the crab bucket and shake off really the other crabs. So it's a journey, Rocky. It is a journey. If I were to ask you to put numbers to this, if you looked at the average population, how many people do you think are the crabs, and how many people do you think have reached up and climbed over or trying to reach up and climb over the edge of the bucket?
Wow. Woo. Well, I would say, it all goes back to the 3% actually crawl out, and 98% are the crabs. But what I do know is there is a massive movement of people that want out. And maybe inside of that 98% or 97%, there's 60% that are literally saying, I do want out, I just don't know how to get there. It's really a calling for those people to step into their power, hire a coach, go to a group coaching, pick up a book, but step by step begin to take actions to what it is that they want, and to surround themselves with other people that are having the success. Surround themselves by the other, 3%, because we all give permission. Each other's story, we give each other permission to win, to have it. I did it, so you can too. It's very moving, empowering, enlightening. When we're in our little vacuum, all we have are our thoughts and news stories, or hanging around the coffee pot at work. It's not an environment that is a source for possibility. It is an environment that is a source of drama and hatred and survival. So it's really putting yourself, stepping out and saying, I don't want to survive. I want to thrive. I want to create. I can have it. Yeah. So there's an awakening. This is the time for those people to begin to take action.
And there are crabs on both sides of the bucket.
Yes.
Now there's 3 on the one side versus the 97 on the other,
Yes.
or you're the one in the middle. If you put your hand up and you start doing the work, you'll be surprised at who will pull you up.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I just got goosebumps.
People who are successful want to help and cultivate other successful people, because when you're only 2 out of 100, you need help. And so let's make it 3 out of 100. Let's do 4 out of 100. Let's get to 5 out of 100. I need to build my tribe and build my group. They all want to make their side of the outside of the bucket bigger, and they're willing to pull people up who are willing to do the hard work and keep going.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
I've read things from Napoleon Hill, but not that one.
So this was a book that came out. It was written in 1937. His family wouldn't let him publish it. It didn't actually get published until pretty much everyone was dead in about 2011. And it talks about how the devil wins. And it's figurative in that sense, but the devil wins when people are in the drift, when they don't have purpose and clarity and know what they want, and are like you talked about. And his numbers were the same. 98% in the drift, 2% out of the drift.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm amazed is. I've done this podcast throughout this year. I talk to people from so many different backgrounds, and the stories all converge. It all comes to many of the same kind of stories, many of the same principles. Everybody tells their story slightly differently, but the underlying themes do not differ. They're all the same. So the path is there. People just got to start reaching up for the top of that bucket and start climbing and find people and do the hard work to make it out. And then you have a life of abundance.
Totally. And freedom and joy. And yes.
And it's clear with you. You can hear it in your voice.
Thank you.
So what are the other things that you would like to share with the audience today?
First of all, Rocky, I so acknowledge you for the profound difference that you make in the world, through your blog, through your coaching, through this podcast, your commitment to share stories and hearts transfers. So I just acknowledge you for being a leader, for being one of the 3%ers. I appreciate your partnership with me in allowing me to share my story. So I acknowledge you, Rocky.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. The other things that I would love for your community to know is I am committed, like no kidding, to all women knowing their greatness. And I have several offerings, whether it be the Rise of Women online coaching program, which starts October the 9th. We will gather as women live together. Then there will be online modules as well. I also have private coaching and then the book coming out. So if they are one of the women that are going to raise their hand and saying, I am no longer willing to put up with my current set of circumstances, I am no longer willing to suffer living a life that I currently have, and I want to begin to create something, we have an amazing community of women that will be together. And I would love to support them in awakening their conscious, having them be bold leaders in their industry, create joy and love, freedom and abundance, and power and passion. So I invite them to check out ShannonSchindlerRedman.com, which is my website. And I'm always doing discovery calls, complimentary consultation. I have that available at workwithshannon.com. If they want to get a complimentary discovery call, we can really dive into something in their life for an hour, see if that makes a difference, and see if there's a partnership that we would want to create together from that. I thank you for allowing me to be with you and with your community today, Rocky.
I appreciate it. So, question, somebody is ready to make a change.
Yes.
What do they need to do to prepare, and what do they need to do mentally and work-wise to be ready to truly receive and make change?
One, it's an awakening. So it's an awakening that they literally have a desire for something other than they currently have. Whether it be the number of sales they're making, maybe it's the number of dollars in their bank account, maybe it's the commissions that they're earning, or coached a woman the other day on, she got a 150% increase in her salary. It was just, she got to a point when she was no longer willing to work for these measly dollars. 1 hour coaching call with me, we got her 150% increase, and she is lit up. It's getting to, you might even call it rock bottom. Then it's take action, do a discovery call, get in a group coaching program, hire a coach, whatever that action is, allow that coach to lock arms with you and partner with you, and they will create the pathway for you. In my coaching program, the group coach, we have a process. We move through things. We distinguish your vision. We distinguish your target market. We distinguish systems and social media and attraction marketing and energy and talking to clients. In the one-on-one coaching, it's really, what are you currently dealing with? Where are you in your process? So it's very specialized. So it's kind of ask your own heart. What are you ready for? I know I loved group coaching since 2007, but now I'm kind of at the level that I need one-on-one. I need specialized. I need special attention to move me with velocity from where I am to where I want to be. It's just an awareness. Where are you? Is this where you want to be? Is this what you thought you would have accomplished right now in your life by now? And if it's not, are you ready? And if you are, seek out somebody who inspires you, maybe somebody who's gone through your same journey, somebody that you can relate to, because it is a relationship, it's a partnership. So you want to definitely make sure you're working with somebody that you love, and then the journey begins from there. It is really a declaration for your life.
And I was going to ask you that. How do you know if your coach is good? And you've kind of already answered that in some senses. Mm-hmm. They have to light you up.
Yes. And
you have to have confidence in them and their ability. And you have to make sure that it's a feeling that's there. Not that you've gone through some sales process and you're excited about something.
No, it is never a sale. Like, I'm in sales and there is no selling. You have to be touched, moved, and inspired by who is in front of you. Energy transfers. And so check in with your intuition. Is this somebody I want to work with? Is this somebody who lights me up? Is my brain already juiced up thinking of new things to do, thinking of new things to take on, just from listening to various people present their businesses in different ways? They do webinars, they do podcasts, they do blogs. Are you inspired by what you're hearing or reading from that person? And check in with your intuition. Many coaches and programs have money-back guarantees. Many coaches or programs have discovery calls prior, so you can get a sense of who it is you'd work with. many leaders have videos and, I'm available. Like my commitment is that a difference is made for you. And I would assert that whoever you're going to be working with or who you want to work with would have the same offerings, like access. I'm available. You would want somebody who's available.
Absolutely. Because if they're not available before, they're probably not going to be available after.
I remember looking at a coaching program for me to participate at one time. Watched this webinar and I went through the whole thing and I thought the webinar was great. And then I got a call from somebody on her team, not the coach. And I said, whoa, am I not going to get to work with her? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, that didn't work for me. And it was a very high ticket coaching program. Do your research, ask the questions, and make sure what you thought you were getting, you get, that it lights you up. And it's an investment in yourself. This is really permission to yourself, to your soul, to bust through, step into your power, step into your greatness. So it's a gift to yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And we'll put your website in the show notes.
Perfect.
And people can reach out and find you. And as we close out here, is there anything final you'd like to say to the audience?
It's been an absolute pleasure being with you. My commitment is that I made a difference for you today, that I inspired you to begin to think about creating a life that you love. And again, Rocky, I acknowledge you. This is just doing good deeds in the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining us. I encourage you to check out Shannon's site, www.shannonschindlerredman.com. It's amazing how all these different successful people share a very similar path. It's not how you grew up and what your circumstances are, but what you choose to do next. It's about overcoming the mindsets and scripts that have taken you to this point in life. If you are tired of work or the place you are, you and only you have the power to control to make the change. You are the one preventing yourself from a life of abundance. No one or anything else is preventing this. In a few weeks, I will release an episode with the blueprints to moving forward based on what I have done and share the different types of resources and how I use them. It takes time. As you see, it took Shannon 5 years to make a massive change. Today is as good a day as any to go ahead and get started. Is there someone else you know who could benefit by what we talked about today? Please share it, as it helps to build your social capital and create better relationships. And start better conversations with the people you know. They will appreciate you for it. So the call to action is, what one small step can you make this week to improve your life? Think about your goals for 2018. Think about what happened in 2017. Sometimes that step is starting something new. Other times it's eliminating something that prevents you from success. What's preventing you from moving forward? And who are you putting on your team to build the life you deserve? Are you ready to take massive action? I'm here to help you build your path and create the life you desire. Thanks for listening. You can always email me, Rocky@RichYourSoul. Have an abundant week.